Welcome to the RadioU podcast. Coming up, a man in Oregon has been catfishing other men on Hinge, but not for the reason you'd expect.
Also, the bubonic plague is the new black.
All that and more on the way next. It is the RadioU podcast with Hudson and Allie. Since you're here, you might as well subscribe, rate, and review. You know what else is here is college football season.
Yeah.
It's finally time. We have games this weekend. Allie, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's give all of our college football picks for the season.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I honestly, I can't even believe that we're already to the college football season. I'm so excited, as I've shared before, but it's crazy to me that we're already here.
Yeah, my first advice before we give any picks and predictions is savor this.
Yeah.
College football season goes by
It's so true.
quickly. It feels like the off season lasts forever, and then you get you're going to fall asleep, and before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving and your team's going to be out of it. So
Right.
Enjoy this. Allie, I think we should start with our national champion picks, and then we can kind of go down deeper further than that afterwards.
Okay.
So
all right.
At the same time, ready? 3, 2, 1. Alabama. Oh my gosh. You're really picking Ohio State.
I'm picking Ohio State.
But what's your real pick if you take off your Homer fan glasses?
Texas.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Texas, I think, could have a really good season. I think there's a chance that they could still lose to Ohio State in the season opener.
Yeah.
But I think Texas's strong suit is their defense. A lot of people putting a lot of emphasis on Arch Manning, but they have 3 preseason All-Americans on their defense. They have a really good defense. And if you remember, they completely shut down Jeremiah Smith in the playoff semifinal game.
That's right.
So I know they're going to be trying to build off of that plan for not only their game against Ohio State, where they'll see Jeremiah Smith again, but also for their whole season. So I think I'm pretty high on Texas to come out of the SEC.
That's a good point. I do not have obviously, I don't have them winning the championship, but that is a good point because everybody, I feel like, seems to be leaning to Ohio State just because they're at home against Texas in that first game. But you're right. Texas did keep Jeremiah Smith in check.
Yep.
And it was kind of the run game of Ohio State that cost that, like Travion Henderson with that big play, of course, even though I think that was a pass play.
It was a screen, yeah.
Yeah, but Ohio State, I think, where they will struggle this year, particularly at first with different coordinators changing. Both of those running backs that were so good last year are gone. That's not going to be something they can just necessarily lean on. You can count on without Chip Kelly there too. So maybe Texas, that is a mark in Texas's favor in that first game. Now, I picked Alabama.
Okay, yeah. Explain the Alabama pick to me.
Alabama was right on the cusp of being in the playoff last year, right?
Yeah.
It was Kalen DeBoer, their coach's first year, and they were close. And you would expect maybe Alabama had a lot of talent, but also Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches of all time, so you'd expect a drop off.
For sure.
But and just very different philosophies too. So there was a transition year. Jalen Milroe's gone now. He was a big problem for Alabama last year. He was a big problem.
Yeah,
now,
I didn't think he was that great.
You've got Ty Simpson, or they've got, if Ty Simpson doesn't work out, maybe that means Alabama's not going to do well, but they do have a quarterback recruit, a freshman, Keelan Russell, who's on the level of Arch Manning and Julian Saint and Bryce Underwood. He is another top quarterback recruit.
Yep.
So there's a chance he could stay, even if things don't go well with Ty Simpson, who's the more experienced guy that they're starting out the year with. Maybe they bring in this other guy and he's a real, he has a Cam Newton RG3 type season for all we know.
Yeah, that's a big maybe. Yeah. But if you want to go there, for sure.
That's not what my prediction rests on. I think Ty Simpson will start the whole season. I think Kalen DeBoer really knows offense. He's got Ryan Grubb, who was the offensive coordinator when they were in Washington, that led them all the way to the championship game with Michael Penix before they lost to Michigan. I think this is just a year where Alabama has so much talent. I think Ty Simpson just has to do what Jalen Milroe couldn't, and that is not turn the ball over a bunch and just make dumb decisions. Mm-hmm. And they have Ryan Williams. They have a lot of other talent around him, and that should be enough. We've off the air have looked back at many of the recent college football champions. It's not like they have a star quarterback.
No, many of them don't. And that's why, to me, even though I pay attention to the Heisman, don't ultimately care about it. Because the point of the season is to win the national championship, and if you're Ohio State, to beat Michigan. But the point of the season is to win the national championship, and often the national champion winner doesn't have the Heisman winner on their team.
Yeah, especially I think now it'll be even more common now that we have a bigger playoff.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, we're all caught up in the star quarterbacks, or Clemson, who has Cade Klubnik, who's been there for many years.
Or Penn State with Drew Aller.
Penn State, Drew Aller, has been there for many years. Texas with Arch Manning, a big star. Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State all have like blue chip, like top ranked quarterbacks, even though they're inexperienced coming in. And we get caught up in that, even though inexperienced quarterbacks tend to not win the championship. And star quarterbacks can get you there, but that you can't get there on that alone.
Yeah.
Or that definitely shouldn't be a reason to shy away from a team if they just have somebody who's trustworthy.
Right.
And so I really like Alabama's coach. He's just won everywhere he's been, even at Washington. Who gets Washington in this day and age to a championship game? Only Kalen DeBoer.
It's tough, but I will say the thing that's working against Kalen DeBoer is the height of expectations at Alabama very high because of Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
The conference that they play in isn't helping him.
Yeah.
He has a gauntlet to run through. And as we saw last season, he ended up with 4 losses. 3 losses is why he got left out of the playoff.
Yeah.
There's a chance where they could easily have those 3 losses rack up again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the reality in the SEC. So even though I hear a lot of people saying it's going to be an SEC comeback year, and I think that might partially be true. As I said, removing my homer glasses, I think Texas has a really good shot at winning the whole thing this year, and that would be for the SEC. But I think it's just a tough conference to run through without getting beat up.
Yeah, this is true that I feel like there's literally like 6 teams in the SEC I could see winning the championship. But those same teams could also go 7-5 just because their schedule seems to be so tough and they all have to play each other.
Right.
So what I do think is definitely possible is whichever team from the SEC, and this could happen in the Big Ten too, the team that looks like the 3rd or 4th best team or is ranked 3rd or 4th out of the teams in their conference makes it into the playoff and then win. I mean, that's kind of what happened to Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
The regular season doesn't make them look as good, but then when they get in the playoffs, they have what it takes. So,
yeah.
And they're battle tested. So I think that could be Alabama. I think they will win the championship. I like them, but would it be crazy if they go 8-4 and miss? I think that's also possible.
It's a really wide range of options with the SEC teams.
Obviously, you have Ohio State and Texas in your playoff.
Yes.
Who else do you have?
So the other teams in my playoff, I've got Penn State, Georgia, Oregon, LSU, Miami, Arizona State.
Okay.
From the Big 12.
Yeah.
And then surprise, surprise. This is going to be a shocker to everybody. I have Michigan.
Wow.
And Oregon. So I actually four Big Ten teams making their way. I have Florida making it.
Okay.
And then I am actually going to go with Boise State to be the Big 12 rep. So I think that's 12.
So you don't have a lot of turnover versus last year.
There's a little bit of turnover. I mean, Florida, LSU, they haven't made it in the playoff in a long time. LSU hasn't made it since they won with Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's never made it. But yeah, there's a lot of similar teams in there. You've got Notre Dame back, Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State. But I think these are the teams that we're expecting to make it. My big omission, if you were listening, Clemson.
You did have Clemson out. Didn't you not say Alabama too?
I didn't say Alabama.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance Alabama could go 9-3 again and get on the outs. And I think the same thing with Clemson. I think there's a chance that they could be 9-3. I think they're the one team in the top 5 of the preseason poll that could end up not out of the top 25, but like in the 15 range.
That's interesting.
I think they could fall apart.
I understand that. I have Clemson being the number 1 seed.
What?
Which
really?
Yeah, because it's not that I love Clemson so much, but I've gone through their recent seasons. they're in the ACC. They do play LSU at their first game, which I think they could lose and still not lose the rest of the year. And I don't think they're the best team, and I would not choose them to win the championship.
If they lose LSU, they're not going to be the number 1 seed.
They could be 11-1, and we just talked about how everybody else has such a tough schedule. So if they've won 11 straight, it'd be very similar to Notre Dame, who was, 5th last year? 5th? 4th? 6th? I don't know.
I think
they were knocked down because they didn't win a conference.
Right.
I think Clemson, I don't think anybody's going undefeated.
Yeah.
And so if you're 11-1, you got a shot. And they could beat LSU because Brian Kelly and LSU seem to lose every first game they ever play. And that may not mean that Clemson is the best. I think their schedule is soft. And even when Clemson is down, which I've looked back through their previous seasons, they still, their worst case scenario is kind of 9-3 because they're usually pretty good, even if they're not great. And the ACC is just not as deep, and there's not as many scary games in your schedule as the rest of the year. They do have a tough out of conference because they play South Carolina at the end of the year too.
Yeah, their rivalry game. That's a big one. I will say, before you give your bracket predictions, the 3 teams that I feel the least confident in that are in my bracket, obviously Clemson's a big omission. They could easily be in the top 12.
Yeah.
But the 3 teams I feel a little iffy on is Arizona State. I think there's a good shot that Kansas State could win the Big 12. Iowa State. I think it's pretty wide open, actually, in the Big 12. That's the one conference where I'm like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Miami, they could fall apart. Who knows? Carson Beck may not work out.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I don't have Miami in my bracket. I don't like Miami.
Yeah, I think they could easily fall apart. It was kind of a, which one do I want to trust in more, Cade Klubnik or Carson Beck? And I know a lot of people are high on Cade Klubnik, but I really don't trust either of them.
This is the other reason I have Clemson in, and I do have them as the number 1 seed, but also I think they could do what they did last year, which is go 9-3, right?
Yeah.
And still win the ACC, because who else am I picking? If it's Clemson and Miami, I'm picking Clemson.
Yeah.
So, and then who else can you pick from there?
Yeah, that's true. And then the other team I'm not confident in entirely yet, just because we haven't seen what they'll look like, is Michigan. They had a terrible offense last season, but they had a good end to the season. They beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama, about an Alabama team that wasn't at full strength. Let's be real. But they've got
may not have cared as much about that bowl game.
Definitely they did not. But they have a tough start to the season. I think if they can get through that tough start and just make it to the end, there's a good shot they could be 11-1 or 10-2 at the end and just squeak on by.
The Big Ten, too, this is the other thing. Those 4 top teams, Illinois is ranked higher than Michigan. I don't consider Illinois one of the top 4 teams.
No.
I don't buy Illinois.
I'm not buying into that either.
So those 4 top teams, which I have all 4 in my playoff, that's Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State.
So we have agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just go through those schedules and I find it tough to find more than 2 or obviously some of them play each other and then they have to face off in the conference title game too, but it's just hard to find a lot of losses because the Big Ten is very top heavy to me.
Yeah.
And I just don't think the middle teams can't, like Indiana, Illinois, I can't count on them to even steal one game from any of those teams.
Right.
Okay, let me go through mine. So I have the 4 from the Big Ten. Those are the only 4 from the Big Ten. Obviously, I have Clemson and Alabama. I also have Texas, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Utah as the Big 12 winner. I have LSU in, and my group of 5 team is Texas, San Antonio.
Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Boise State, they obviously lose Ashton Genty, right?
Yeah.
I like a lot of other things about their team, but I just find it's hard to expect them to go 11-1 again, and they do play Notre Dame, and I don't think they'll win that. So,
right, yeah.
Texas San Antonio starts with Texas A&M, which will be tough, but that's right at the beginning of the season. It could be very similar to Boise last year, where they play Texas A&M tough. They could even beat them, I don't know, and then go through the rest of the American Conference and do very well. So,
yeah.
I do want to say, though, let's do this last. Any surprise picks, teams that maybe you don't want to pick to make the playoff, but teams that you think will definitely pull an upset or like that you think could have an outside shot at making the playoff, even though neither of us predicted them.
Outside shot.
I have 3.
You have 3 teams?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see here. I think there's a good chance right now where they're sitting. I did kind of put a sleeper team a little bit in the playoff for me, and that's Florida. They're right at 15.
Yeah.
So you can tell a lot of the people, they just don't know where to put Florida. They could be bad, they could be good. And I kind of feel that way too. I feel like they could be a surprise team in the SEC and kind of break more towards the good.
Yeah.
But
I like Florida a lot. I do have, my concern is their quarterback, DJ Lagway. He could be a Heisman winner. Also, I don't think he'd be bad, but I think he could get injured, and I think that'd be a big problem for them.
Yeah, if he gets injured, their season's over.
Yeah, he seems to be injury prone.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Florida. But as I said, I'm high on Florida. I've got 4 SEC teams in, and they're one of them. But one team that's kind of a sleeper team that could replace Florida could be South Carolina.
Yeah.
I could see them spoiling Clemson's season at the end. So giving Clemson like their third loss, let's say.
Yeah.
So kind of booting them out of the way and then making it into the playoff as one of those last teams.
I like South Carolina a lot too. I feel like I just don't trust them as much because they don't have the track record as some of these other SEC teams.
But they have upset potential.
Yeah, they do. And everybody forgets because Alabama was like the first team out last year.
Yeah.
South Carolina had the same record. And I think at the time, actually might have had a better argument than Alabama did.
I agree with that.
To be the last team in, but they weren't Alabama.
Yeah.
Which that's something that can still continue to work against them this year because they're still South Carolina.
You're right.
But their quarterback, Lenore Sellers, is great.
I want them to be in.
I could see them in, yeah.
I want the Gamecocks in.
There's so many teams in the SEC I could see in. It's crazy. Like, I have a lot of conviction in my picks, but there's also like I still feel like it's so wide open.
It's really
of who
wide
can
open.
make it. I feel like there's only a couple teams that can win.
Yes.
I feel like it's really wide open for who can make it.
Yeah, we might see pretty much. I think we'll see several of the same teams that make it from last year, but we could see a lot of different teams too.
Yeah. So I said it's hard to find somebody else other than Clemson to me to win the ACC. If I had to pick somebody else that was a long shot, it would be Georgia Tech.
Oh.
Yeah, because I really like their quarterback, Haynes King.
Yep.
I also think, too, Georgia Tech, they could go on a run, pull some upsets, win the ACC, and he could be a Heisman contender. I think that's my, like, long shot, Hail Mary, like, lottery pick to win a lot of money.
And then maybe how we should end this segment is who do we think will win the Heisman after we trashed it and said it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm having a tough time with that. I guess based off of all that I've said, you know what? I'll say Ryan. No, I'm going to say Arch Manning wins it.
Okay.
Not because he's going to have that amazing of a season, but I mean, Texas is going to be good. And if they're near the top and he's such a big name, it's going to be hard to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, you're right.
If nobody else has like a wow season.
You're right, because he is the odds-on favorite. I mean, the odds for him to win are kind of crazy right now. Like, actually, the betting odds are insane.
Yeah. Which usually doesn't work out with the Heisman.
And that's why I'm not picking him.
Yeah.
Is because I think he might actually, not work out as well as people think. I remember when he came into the game against Ohio State, he looked real wobbly. He fumbled the ball. And it just didn't look great. And so the inexperience might work against him, especially with such a hard schedule. So we'll see. I've heard that he's improved a lot, but we can't judge until we've seen him play.
Mm-hmm.
I am going with Jeremiah Smith to win the Heisman.
That's tough for a receiver.
It's so tough. Marvin Harrison Jr. almost did it.
Yep.
And so I think this is going to be partially just showing how good Jeremiah Smith is, but also making up for the fact that it should have been Marvin Harrison Jr. to win it a couple years ago.
Okay. I really almost picked Ryan Williams from Alabama, but then I'm like, it's just too hard for a receiver. Even though I think Alabama, like if they're 11-1, it's like, oh, we picked somebody from Alabama, but it's still a receiver though.
It's tough, yeah.
And if Arch Manning's there and Texas is 10-2 and he's had a lot of big games, and it's and racks up stats in some of their lesser games, it might be hard to.
Those big moments matter.
Yeah.
You have to have the Heisman moments, which I think Jeremiah Smith, with the games Ohio State has, he has the capability of having those moments, but Arch Manning certainly does as well.
That's definitely, I mean, like Ohio State could literally close out the season beating Michigan. It's hard to imagine, I know.
Bigger Heisman moment.
Yeah, but that would be Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that would be really what hands it to him.
Yeah.
College football's here. Well, Burger King is in the news For all the wrong reasons. 8772 Radio U. Isn't that always the way?
Yep.
With Burger King, anyways. I don't know if you saw this woman. She went viral about a month ago. Her name is Nakia Hamilton. She went viral for working alone in a Burger King and keeping the restaurant running all by herself for 12 hours.
Oh, my.
No help. Pretty impressive.
I was going to say, that is extremely impressive.
That was about a month ago. She's since been sacked. She's been fired.
Fired?
Yeah.
For what?
The report is, or the excuse is, quote, attendance issues. It sounds to me like there's a lot of attendance issues at that Burger King. A few other people must have attendance issues if she had to work alone for 12 hours.
I was going to say, I was like, she was one of your most dedicated employees because she worked alone for 12 hours and kept the store running when it probably shouldn't have been running.
Yeah.
So she made you money, franchise owner, franchise manager, whatever.
I like that you point that out because Burger King, like corporate offices, are like, it's the franchise's decision. We don't,
right.
It has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Please, we wash our hands of this.
Right.
We're not going to offer her another job, but it's not. Don't blame us. But they, for Burger King on their part too, they did say that no employee should have to experience what she did, where she had to work 12 hours alone. She kind of admits that it's not that she doesn't have attendance issues, but she is a single mother of 3. And so she's saying, like, working the way that this Burger King was demanding of her, especially because it seems nobody else was showing up, meant her missing out on her kids' lives. And so that was why it was her kids that were making her miss stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it's tough. I feel like we hear this all the time about how fast food chains are really struggling to staff them just to keep them running.
Yeah.
And so when you see this, it's kind of a weird juxtaposition because it's like, on the one hand, she was there for a 12-hour shift, made sure you could keep running.
Yeah.
When no one else showed up. But on the other hand, she's admitting, attendance not the greatest. But there's valid reasons as to why.
We don't know everything, but if they're, and like, she can share her side of the story and whatever. She has got, obviously gotten very big on TikTok and everything. But like, obviously they're short on employees, which probably means they're demanding a lot of her because she would actually be there and work when she was there. But how much can you actually reasonably demand of somebody, especially when they're a single mom? Like, just because you don't have anybody else you can ask doesn't mean you can ask her all the time and they get upset when she can't show up.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. We don't know, but something tells me if a company, a franchise is dealing with issues of employees coming in and being there, they wouldn't be firing a loyal, employee that's showing up every day.
Right.
So there's probably a reason as to why this happened.
Can we go in reverse for a minute and back up to where she ran a Burger King alone for 12 hours?
Crazy.
The fact that Burger King isn't busy enough for that to actually derail anything.
Right.
Like, if that was a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, impossible.
No, I mean, the employees there are great, but there's no chance if one person had to run a Chick-fil-A on their own. Sometimes I go to Taco Bell, it seems like it is just one employee running it alone. Yeah. Especially if you go later at the night, which I guess I don't blame them for. But I don't know. Why is it always Burger King, too? Like, there's a GoFundMe for this lady. That's this only restaurant I hear where employees get GoFundMes afterwards because they get fired for strange situations.
I don't know. Maybe Burger King just has a problem with firing employees for weird situations.
I think Burger King has a lot of problems.
That's fair.
We haven't even brought up the food. Talking underwear. How much should you bring on vacation?
How much?
How much underwear should you bring on vacation? If you follow TikTok, people agonize over this.
It's true. Because you're always worried about, like, well, what if?
Yeah.
The what if questions get you.
You feel like you can never have enough. It's easy to invent scenarios in your mind where it's like, I could go through 4 pairs in a day. So I better be prepared.
I'm definitely never that extreme. But usually what I try to do is, like, 1 pair for each day and then 1 extra. Just in case.
1 extra. This is something that has been agonized so much that that a travel expert has weighed in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after, there's been a lot of videos going around on TikTok where people are like, well, I'm going for 4 days, so I might as well I'm obviously 4, and then 1 extra. But then what if I need another one for this? And then, we're going to the water thing this day, so I'll bring another one for that. And then all of a sudden you have like 12 pairs of underwear for a 4-day
Suddenly
trip.
You're dumping your whole drawer in your bag.
But a travel expert, her name is Amanda. She says that her rule, Amanda Parker, is you bring as many underwear as there are days in your trip.
Yep.
Plus 3.
Plus 3.
3. So if you're going on a 2-day trip, you bring 5 pairs of underwear.
That's crazy.
I don't know about that math.
That's crazy.
That feels like a lot.
Yeah, that feels like too many, in my opinion. I'm not sure if I trust this travel expert. I
think my equation would... Now, she brings up a lot of reasons that make a lot of sense why people do overpack underwear. So I don't think that she's completely doesn't know what she's talking about.
I'm sure.
But to me, I feel like it's actually a more complex equation.
Okay.
I feel like you bring, let's say for every 3 days, you bring 4 pairs of underwear.
What? Okay.
Like 1 extra for every 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, I thought you were saying 4 per day.
No. For every 3 days, you bring 4.
Okay.
The ratio of underwear to days should be 4 to 3, no matter how long your trip is.
Okay.
I guess that does get complex if you have like a 5-day trip.
Yeah.
Then do you bring half a pair, half an extra?
No, you just round up.
2/3 of an underwear? I guess, you round up.
You round up.
So if it's 4 days, 4 underwears.
Yeah.
That feels like that's risky though. I think, you know what I think? I think what I feel like people never take into account is that you can maybe like recycle one.
Well,
in an emergency.
But also, I've done this before. Do laundry on your trip.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if you're staying in an Airbnb, a lot of them offer, they have like a washer and dryer. And
that's a great point.
On a trip I just went on, I did laundry.
Because at home, if I want to do a load of laundry, it should be a load because I want to get my money's worth of using all that electricity and water, whatever. But at an Airbnb, who cares? Put 1 pair of underwear in the laundry.
Oh, well,
why not?
I did more than that. I had a decent amount of stuff going in.
What's stopping you, though?
That's fair.
One other thing you could do is just never wear underwear.
No, we don't recommend that. At least I don't. I will not stand behind that statement.
It's an option. It's an option
say
that's
not an option.
In an emergency, it's an option. One more reason to delete those dating apps off your phone, 8772-RadioU, is that they could cost you your secret fishing spot. 8772-RadioU. This is literally a guy in Oregon who has amassed a pretty big following on TikTok, and his whole thing is catfishing other men on TikTok, or on a Hinge, I should say, to find out the GPS coordinates of their secret fishing holes.
And this has to be easy for him because the amount of guys that post pictures with fish on dating apps is actually alarming.
And that's you here forgetting about Oregon. It's probably even more prominent, right?
Where it's
what else are you supposed to do in Oregon?
Yeah, there's a lot of areas to go fishing. But, here in RadioU, Ohio, there's lots of places to go fishing as well. But, the fish pics are out of hand sometimes.
They really are.
I don't mind them. I think they're fun. Some of them are fun, but then there's also some where you're just like, that's not an impressive catch. Why are you showing that on your dating profile?
And I don't know, if this is my place to say, but I don't feel like holding up a fish really necessarily screams sexy. Does it? Maybe I'm all wrong.
I think it depends on the the girl's perspective and like what she likes. Like again, for me, I don't mind it. I think it's cool that you can like hunt or you can fish.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the hunting and the fishing pictures. And again, here in Ohio, we have a lot of those on dating apps, I feel like. But again, there's some that it's just like, okay, well, I just saw a guy 2 swipes before you with a fish that's like 3 times that size.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta
really
be
want to
careful
open yourself up to that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with what pictures of yourself you post holding fish.
That is a good point. This guy in Oregon, though, you can follow him on TikTok, central.oregon.fishing, and he has catfished numerous guys. Obviously, he sets up the profile as him as a woman.
Yeah.
And so then, like, all it takes is a couple messages and him having some cute pictures of some, I don't know who the gal is, and guys are just willing to spill these secret fishing spots that they won't even share with their good buddies.
Yeah, they're willing to give him GPS coordinates. Yeah. This is crazy. So yeah, I feel like this is I mean, obviously we don't want people getting catfish. But if catfishing were to, pan out, like this is the best way to do it. You're catfishing for fishing
Literally
spots.
for possibly catfish.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know the morality of this.
Not good.
I don't know.
It's not. It's
a victimless crime.
Is it? It's questionable. But
why are guys gatekeeping their fishing spots like this? Why?
Because they're good. I mean, the guy does like a tier ranking list in his videos.
Yeah.
And one of the spots he ended up at, he got like 20 fish that day.
I know, but
so these are good spots.
If you share them with a trusted inner circle instead of keeping them all to yourself, that's not going to ruin it.
Maybe not as many fish for you.
Everybody thinks that, like, if I tell my 3 friends, then one of them tells 4 of their friends, and then all of a sudden the fishing hole is ruined.
Well, now it's really spread out because this guy's posting it on TikTok.
Yeah, but I feel like, ironically, right, he's not sharing the GPS coordinates, is he?
I think he did mention the places that he's going.
I think, like, if you're going to do this, I feel like in the spirit of it, you have to share it with the world.
Yeah. Although the one thing he's not sharing, which lets me know that he's planning to continue doing this, he's not showing you the profile. He's not showing you what this fake woman looks like.
I'm curious if this guy is in a relationship and, like, is that easy to explain? Like, hey, is that Hinge on your phone? It's for fishing spots, I swear. I
promise you, I am not trying to get into a new relationship. I'm actually trying to trick men.
Yeah. That's right. Tomorrow is the day. College football finally arrives. And I was thinking about it, Allie, it's so crazy. We're so desperate for college football that, like, a few years ago, they made up this thing where they're like, let's kick off the college football season in Ireland, which makes no sense. But we're still so desperate. We're like, yes, play a football game in Ireland for all we care. We just want to be able to watch it.
We just want college football, and we don't care how it happens. We just want it.
It was one thing when it was Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish going to Ireland.
That made sense.
It didn't make as much sense as them just playing in America, where every college football team is located. But they were the Fighting Irish.
Right.
This year, it's Farmageddon. It's Iowa State against Kansas State in Ireland for who knows why.
I was going to say, this is probably the game that makes the least sense in the entire season.
Yeah.
Just because it's like these two brands, they're not even like, they're big brands, but they're not the biggest.
This isn't a game that would headline the slate on any normal week.
No. And I think, you would imagine, and this is probably why we need a commissioner for the sport of college football. Because a commissioner probably would put maybe some better brands out there and to be like, this is what we're going to send to the rest of the world. The rest of the world, I mean, they might get an entertaining game, though.
Yeah.
With this Kansas State, Iowa State game.
And the thing is, I mean, at least they're from Power 4 conferences.
Sure.
And I think the ratings will still be great because what else do we have to look forward to? This is our day.
Game. Yeah, this is the only game. The ratings will still be great. This is the only game, and last year's Week 0 game, as we've mentioned before, really great game. But as far as how I think this game is going to go, I'm really struggling to kind of parse out who has the upper hand in this game.
Yeah.
These teams, to me, seem pretty equally matched. I know a lot of people are...
Well, it's on a neutral field, and Kansas State is favored by about 3.
Yeah.
So that means they're very, very close.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up. But I will say Kansas State is the team that a lot of people are picking to be the Big 12 champ.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did that go last year?
Right. But I could see Iowa State easily winning this game.
Yeah.
I don't feel confident about either team to pick, this is who's going to win.
Yeah.
I really just don't think I can have much of a lean with this.
Yeah. If I had to choose, this is not something that I'm going to, put any money on or anything.
No.
But since I'm making a pick, I guess I'll pick Iowa State because they won last year.
Yep.
And so why wouldn't they win this year too? But what I really would think is that it will be low scoring with all the travel, unfamiliar environment, first
Even
game
with
of
those
the year.
Big 12 offenses?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be tough for everybody to get in sync for the first game tomorrow.
That's fair.
It's going to be weird time too. Like it's
Yeah.
noon. It'll be noon Eastern. But it's even earlier if you're from Iowa or Kansas, right?
Right.
If that's where you normally live, but it's way later in Ireland. So I don't know. I just think you're going to be confused, and it's not going to be an environment where it lends itself to.
It should be a shootout, 42 to 40.
Sure. Some of the other games on the schedule tomorrow, because that's not the only one. You get UNLV Idaho State.
Okay.
That's going to be a barn burner. Fresno State against Kansas.
Okay.
So the entire state of Kansas will be locked in
They're
tomorrow.
in action.
Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky, and Stanford versus Hawaii. So not exactly a lot of big names.
Yeah, this is the game we'll be watching.
There's no other ranked teams besides Kansas State and Iowa State going in action tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I keep saying, we've just been waiting for so long that I'll watch anything.
Yeah.
I will watch multiple of these games tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll turn it on. We'll enjoy it. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to pick the Kansas State Wildcats because we got the upset last year in this game. I think I'm going chalk with this.
Just got to
one.
be, yeah. And you just have to be different. All right, stop me when this sounds familiar. Another streaming service is raising prices.
Stop. Please stop.
8772 Radio U. This time, it's Apple TV Plus.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, you never subscribed, did you?
I never did subscribe. I did have it at one point because they have the Friday night baseball thing.
Oh, yeah. Aren't they losing that, though,
I was
right?
going to say, I don't think they're planning to do that anymore. I had it when they first started that because my Cleveland Guardians were playing a whole bunch of games on Apple TV. And I was like, well, I got to be able to watch them. So I had the subscription for maybe 2 months. And then I was like, it's not even worth it.
I know for a while, too, they just gave out. I mean, if you had any Apple device, they would just give you an Apple TV Plus subscription for a while for free.
Really?
But, I mean, that was the old days. I don't know if you can get a free trial of any meaningful streaming service anymore.
No, they don't even. Not even Netflix allows you free trials.
Yeah, which is actually crazy. But Apple TV Plus, if you didn't know, has been $9.99 per month. They now are going to be bumping it up to $12.99 per month, which to me, I'm asking based off of what? And I've actually watched some pretty good Apple TV Plus shows.
Yeah, you're a big Severance fan, aren't you?
Severance is great. I know I've watched other good shows on there. I can't think of them at the moment.
Ted Lasso is a big favorite of a lot of people.
Yeah, right? I've never watched that.
Really?
No, I've never watched the second of it.
I think you would like it.
I know people say that. I feel like it might be not for me.
I think it's hilarious. I've watched, I think, almost all of season 1. Again, I don't have Apple TV, but my former roommate had it, and sometimes we would watch it together.
Is Ted Lasso, it's part of this price increase, is there any Ted Lasso in the future? Or I thought that was kind of done.
No, there's a new season coming.
A new season coming.
Yeah.
Well, this is convenient timing for them to raise the prices then, isn't it?
I don't think the season's coming soon, but I believe they're working on it.
It is so odd that I know I've watched numerous Apple TV Plus shows and I've enjoyed them. I don't have a subscription at the moment, but I also struggle to think besides Severance and Ted Lasso, the two shows that come to mind for everybody. that like have kind of broken out and been bigger hits. Like, what else are they hanging their hat on? What like they don't have a Stranger Things or a Squid Game or a Wednesday that people are like, oh, I must subscribe to I have to have it for at least a month when this show comes out.
Right. They don't really have that viral sensation other than Ted Lasso, and that went viral. We're talking a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while since the last season came out.
Yeah. So it's not exactly been a great success for Apple TV Plus. I think they were the running joke of the streaming service that would spend way too much money on these shows that no one would watch.
Seriously. Yeah, that was their thing. And movies, too.
Yeah.
They would put movies on there, and one of the Martin Scorsese movies was like an Apple TV Plus thing, and it's like they blew so much money on that, and as much as I'm glad that they made it, I'm like, how can you afford this, Apple?
This just shows you how much money Apple makes by overcharging you for all of these devices.
But also tells you how not profitable it has become. Even they have to raise prices.
They are admitting now that this is not the best business move on their part to give away free subscriptions and then also, spend way too much money on these shows that no one's watching.
I'm wasting my time here trying to find other Apple TV Plus shows that I would actually
No one's
watch.
going to know what you're talking about, even if you were able to find a list.
There are good shows on there, but they're more niche. They're, they're sleeper hits. They're not big, if you watch them, they're good, but they're not the kind of thing that appeals to a wide audience. So
they're really not.
Well made, but not. It's for the general public.
It's not for everybody, and I was really sad. I think over the summer they came out with the first new special for Charlie Brown in like a long, long time.
Yeah,
and it was on Apple TV Plus. And you know what I said? I said, good grief.
I remember this. The show that infuriated me with the dumbest twist of all time is on Apple TV Plus.
What was it?
It's called Sugar. It stars Colin Farrell. I will not spoil it. There's 6 good episodes. It's like a noir, film noir. And then it becomes the stupidest twist you've ever seen. It's an exciting time of year. So many people going back to school right now. Obviously, we have football season in college and the NFL starting up. It won't be long before hockey and basketball get here too.
I know.
And Allie, this is one of like my old adages of life, is that the beginning and the end are so much more exciting than the middle. And so when you at this time of year, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so much more fun because it's the beginning of the school year. The beginning is really exciting. You get to see all your friends again, whatever. The end is exciting because it's also the beginning of summer, but there's a lot of middle of school. The football season, it's really exciting. Everybody's 0-0. We all have a chance to win the championship. The end is exciting, especially if your team is in it. The playoffs, like this. But then there's a lot of middle where a lot of teams are eliminated, and it's not exactly fun to go through that all the time.
No.
But here's the thing. Life is a lot of middle. There's a lot of middle that's a lot harder to get through. Once something becomes routine, once you're into school for a few weeks, it becomes very routine. And routine is boring. Routine is mundane. You're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And that it's sometimes hard to persevere. Another example would be if you're training for, let's say, a race. It's exciting at first. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna accomplish something.
Yep.
And then if you actually get to the marathon or the 5K, you're like, yes, finally, I'm gonna do really good. But then in the middle, where you have to get out and train every day over and over again, when it's routine, it becomes really tough.
Yeah,
to convince yourself.
It's really hard to persevere through that sometimes, but it's so rewarding when you do.
It pays off.
Yeah, it absolutely pays off. And, as you said, it can be a struggle, but it's something where if you keep doing it, you're going to build that mental fortitude to just keep going.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many things in life like that. And like I said, just because of how life is, where you wake up and you kind of wind up doing the same thing over and over again. It feels like life itself is a lot of middle.
Yeah.
God can help you make it through the middle of life. When you have a relationship with Jesus, you know that there is an end, that there's a new exciting end coming.
Yeah.
There's a new exciting beginning always coming. It's around the corner. It might not feel like it today. Today feels like a middle day, but God is going to get you through to where there's something exciting again. And the ultimate exciting end is, of course, being with him in heaven. But there's so much in a life that can be exciting as well that can be, you got to open your eyes to when you have a relationship with Jesus.
Absolutely. Having a relationship with God means there's purpose in the middle. There's purpose to that middle. So don't look at it as just something I have to trudge through.
Yeah.
There's purpose in every single day. And even if it feels like a middle day where you're just like, I'm just in my routine. There's really nothing exciting happening. God has purpose in those moments. So don't let that pass you by.
And when you can have that mindset and have that focus, even through those difficult middle days, then that allows you to reach the end and experience that. And obviously that's the exciting part.
Yeah.
If you want to know more, start talking to God wherever you are and ask him to show you what it actually means to be able to persevere and have purpose through the middle. And if you want to know even more, go to radiou.com/free gift. That's a good place to start as well. A good beginning
at
radiou.com/free gift. Okay, I checked. It is 2025. And someone in California just got the Black Plague.
What?
8772 Radio U, the very same plague from history class that wiped out half of Europe, crippled the world.
Yeah.
In the 1300s, I believe, is back. It's back in action in America. And not only is it in California, it's struck what many consider a little slice of paradise. It's shown up the Black Plague in the Lake Tahoe region.
Yeah, this person tested positive for the plague, which is crazy that you can just call it the plague and people will know what you're talking about.
It is the plague.
It's the plague.
It's not just a plague.
Yeah, this is the one, the black one, the Black Plague. But yeah, they were camping in South Lake Tahoe in El Dorado County, and they tested positive for the plague.
How did they get it?
How did they contract this?
You don't just get the plague.
It says they may have been bitten by an infected flea.
Okay.
So it's flea driven.
This must have been some pretty rustic camping they were doing. Right. Like these were some real campers, and I guess they didn't bring enough bug spray.
Yeah, apparently not. But apparently they're currently under the care of a medical professional and are recovering at home.
The good news with the plague these days, right, is because it is 2025, like I think we're able to handle the plague.
Yeah, we have the medical wherewithal to actually treat it.
Because, like, I mean, in the 1300s or whatever, it would have been an actual death sentence, pretty much. Now you can live through it. Still not fun, though.
No.
It's called the Black Plague because you get, like, black sores in your armpits, and right? Like, isn't that what... It turns like your skin black and like, you know, because you get these sores.
Yeah, I believe you do get sores, but I don't know if it would ever be something that severe today.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd really like to just not find out, though.
Same. I don't want to put that to the test.
I would like to not get any disease that wiped out half of a continent.
No, thanks.
Even if we can live through it now.
Right. Just the thought of it potentially being back. I mean, it brings back memories. We don't have them, but it brings back, lessons from history of one of the worst times in history. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be associated with that time.
Yeah. And I mean, part of the reason it was so bad then, right, is because of bad hygiene and everything.
Yeah,
obviously just completely different times.
Lots of people living very close together, just misunderstanding on germs and cleanliness and all of that.
There was no plumbing when the Black Plague had its heyday.
Yeah.
So we should have it under control, but it's still a concerning headline to see because it's like, where does it come from?
Right. Like how is it possible to be back?
If this person in California got it from a flea, that flea had to get it from somewhere. Where did the flea get it from? And that means somebody else, there's some other animal that has the plague, and I know it can be in like rodents and stuff. So one good reason to not mess with rodents. Yeah. Even if they are cute.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. Capybaras?
Oh,
pretty cute.
Fair. That's fair.
I think we could.
I don't put them on the same level as like rats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's unlikely that any capybara has the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn ready. It's our Friday tradition, the weekend watch list, letting you know which movies are new that you could be watching in theaters or at home this weekend. We do it every weekend, even if it's like this weekend where it's kind of a slow release week.
Yeah.
Let's start with Honey, Don't. It's a new movie in theaters starring Margaret Qualley, Chris Evans, and Aubrey Plaza. Small-town private investigator Honey O'Donohue probes a series of strange deaths that are tied to a mysterious church.
Uh-oh.
It has a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. Amy Nicholson of the Los Angeles Times says, there's enough to like in Honey, Don't to get you through the 89-minute running time. I'd watch Quali stride around barking at people for twice as long. That's a positive review, and even that sounds very
not a great
middling
sell for this.
Enough to get you through the runtime.
Yeah, that's not good, especially for a mystery. Makes me think, we've talked a lot about how we feel like the scoring for Rotten Tomatoes has been a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
It's really high. A 51% today, probably 10 years ago, would have been a 31%.
Yeah, probably true. So that is there. But maybe you don't want to see that. Maybe you want an animated movie instead. Let me introduce you to Ninja 2.
Okay.
Hopefully you saw Ninja 1.
I was going to say, I haven't seen the first Ninja, so might be behind the 8 ball with this one.
Born to mortal parents, a rebellious young demigod uses his immense powers to battle an ancient force that's bent on humanity's destruction.
Is this an anime?
No, but it is, it does not originate here in the United States.
Okay.
It is an animated movie. It has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Chris Kilmeck of the Washington Post says, the character and environmental designs are both otherworldly in their originality and astonishingly lifelike.
Ooh.
So they're getting high marks.
Just what I want, my animation to be lifelike.
Yeah. One other option if you want to stay home this weekend, but you still need something new. On Amazon Prime Video, there is The Map That Leads to You. Heather embarks on a European adventure, her journey taking an unexpected turn when she meets Jack. Their encounter opens up new possibilities which neither had anticipated.
Is that the one starring Jenna Ortega?
No.
Oh.
No. This stars Madeline Klein and KJ Apa.
Okay, yeah. I feel like there's like a cute romantic comedy or something that's coming out with Jenna Ortega soon, and I don't remember what it's called.
I don't think it's this week. The Map That Leads to You on Amazon Prime Video has a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ugh.
Chris Azzopardi of the New York Times says it's all as comfortably mindless as you'd expect.
Ooh.
So we really
not a great weekend.
No, this is one of the worst ones I've really seen all year long.
Yeah, there's just like nothing.
So a good week to catch up on some other stuff that has slipped you by, like Fantastic Four, Superman, Naked Gun, F1, Weapons. There's so many movies that have come out over it's been a good summer for movies, but not a good week for movies.
My bet is Weapons is going to be number 1 for the 3rd week in a row, which is crazy for a horror movie.
Definitely doesn't seem like any of these new releases are going to challenge it.
No.
Let us know what you see this weekend. We always love to see your reviews at 8772 RadioU. That's your weekend watch list, and we'll see you at the movies. Obviously, we're very excited about college football kicking off this weekend. Check out the RadioU podcast today. The new episode that drops this afternoon will include our predictions for the season. But that's not the only sport that's going on right now.
No.
There's baseball. There's Major League Baseball. There's also the Little League World Series, which I know you've been following very closely.
I love the Little League World Series. I watch it every year. Even if, my local area doesn't get a team in, I still enjoy watching these teams. These kids have worked so hard and they're so talented. So, yeah, I love the Little League World Series.
So have you been paying attention? Have you noticed the controversy that's kind of going through the Little League World Series right now because of the way the Connecticut team has been running the bases?
Oh, absolutely. This has been all over baseball, like X. People have been sharing video, particularly of one game that Connecticut's team did this against South Dakota, where they just went crazy.
Because they didn't run up the score, but they scored a bajillion runs near the end of the game against South Dakota, right? Doing just this.
Right. which didn't eliminate South Dakota, but it put South Dakota in the elimination bracket. And South Dakota did end up getting eliminated from the next game that they played, where weirdly enough, they tried the same strategy that Connecticut tries and does and successfully uses. And South Dakota failed at it. So not everyone can employ this crazy hack that Connecticut has found.
This is what I'm reading is that this is a strategy that's been tried by teams at the Little League World Series many times over the years, but no one's been able to perfect it and practice it enough this way the Connecticut team has.
They've found a way.
The loophole kind of in the rules that may be adjusted after this year, we'll see, is that when you have runners on base, they aren't allowed to advance when the pitcher has the ball, right?
Yep.
But if the pitcher doesn't have the ball, like once he throws it, all bets are off.
Yep.
And so what the Connecticut team is doing is if they have a guy on first base, he will kind of like really
take
a big lead and stand in the middle of second and first base, which is particularly effective when there's a runner on third because it forces the team that, like the pitching team to either try to throw the ball to first or second to get this guy that's in between those two bases, but then the ball's over there, so the third base player can go home.
Yeah, it opens it up.
And so they've they apparently have practiced this 3 hours a day for how long?
Well, they were practicing 3 hours a day for the Little League World Series every single day. And I guess this is one of the things that they practiced a whole bunch because they found this loophole and they realized that towards an end of a game, if they're down by any amount of runs, they can use this strategy to come back. And
it's worth the risk, yeah.
And they used it successfully against South Dakota. So, I think there's a good chance that the Little League World Series is going to be changing these rules. Like Little League officially will probably change the wording on these rules because it's very unclear. Again, basically teams are having to force the ball to the pitcher as quickly as possible and then try and get one of these players out, and it's just not working. At least not against Connecticut. Connecticut seems to be the only team that can make this magic happen.
When you see this happening in a game, does it make you angry or do you applaud them? Are you not even mad you're impressed? How do you feel about it? Because they're not breaking any rules, but it's also kind of taking advantage of a flaw in the rule book, it seems.
I love this. I gotta be honest, it's Little League.
Yeah.
But also, the Little League World Series is the hardest thing to get to statistically because there are so many Little Leagues, so many teams. To actually make it there is statistically almost impossible if you're going to play Little League. So I get it. If you're a coach that wants to look into the rules real hard and find a loophole, why not? Why not?
My first instinct was and in sports generally, I like this, finding your competitive advantage. Bill Belichick was the master of this for so long in the NFL. And so I really appreciate that. But then I'm thinking Little League, I'm yes, you want to win and the players want to win, but also it's teaching the kids to play the game, right? And so then I was maybe I don't like it because this isn't real. If they're spending all practice focusing on this, what are they not learning?
I don't think they were.
But then I thought, no, this is how they should be taught. We need more of this going up through the ranks all the way to the MLB where you find these little competitive. I feel like MLB, as for all the analytics and everything, has gotten lazy with this in a way.
This is using your brain.
Yeah. Make it more of a chess game and find these little advantages that you can use in the right situation. And so I actually really love that they do this.
Yeah, it's smart. It's smart coaching, smart base running, all of that stuff. Those are important aspects to the game of baseball. And even if they change these rules, these kids will remember and know when to look for those moments to take advantage.
This team is the opposite of the Yankees right now. 2025. We all know skinny jeans are out, but did you know Nonnacore is in?
Nonnacore.
Yeah, 8772 RadioU. I like how you just said it, Nonnacore.
Well, Grandmacore has been something that I've seen in for probably the past year or so.
Okay, that leads me to one of my questions that we'll get to in a second. But Nonnacore is very specific.
Okay.
Nonnacore is specifically fashion that would be inspired by your an Italian grandmother.
I don't have one of those.
No, neither do I. Particularly the way that, and this is very recognizable to me, the way that they would wear a scarf tied around their head.
Oh, okay.
That is Nonnacore.
That's also just Hollywood in like its golden era.
Yeah.
The golden age of Hollywood, a lot of like, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe.
Yep.
So that was maybe something that was popular when Nonna would have been in her heyday.
Yeah. And it's circling back around, and it's circling back around because like this is something that, for example, Hailey Bieber would do. And she leads the charge on a lot of fashion, and it trickles down from her, apparently. So some of these scarves are actually wild, though. Like they're not just tying something around your head. Like they have wild patterns, and it's just a lot. It is a lot.
It is a lot. This is not something I would do because also most of the time these celebrities that are doing this, they're wearing like Gucci or Dolce & Gabbana. Like they're wearing like the most expensive scarves that you can think of.
I think I saw that the one Rihanna was wearing was like $600. And this is for like a tiny scarf that goes on your head.
Right. It's like a tiny silk scarf that is just a square. And so why are you spending this amount of money? Like they have the money to spend on that, but unfortunately, when they wear it, it influences a whole bunch of people that probably shouldn't be spending that amount of money on a silk scarf to do just that.
You know what though? That's not what your Italian grandma would do. She would not spend $600 on a scarf.
She probably made that scarf.
Exactly.
She hand sewed that scarf that she is wearing. So if you want to truly blend in with the grandmas, the nonnas from Italy, you need to start making your own scarves.
Now let's get to my other question, which was, what's another old timey fashion, like something your grandparents would wear, or maybe even older, that needs to make a fashion comeback?
Suspenders.
You want suspenders to come back?
I mean, I don't think they look that bad. I actually think suspenders look cool.
I don't know about that.
Suspenders, I'm thinking of, like the 1920s.
Okay, that not like fun suspenders.
No, I'm thinking of suspenders that like men would wear on a daily basis.
Yeah, under their suit jacket.
Sometimes.
That they always had to wear.
But sometimes they would just be in a regular shirt and, like button-down shirt. That was a regular shirt at the time. But, and they would wear the suspenders.
I wonder health-wise how that is for your shoulders.
I don't think it would be bad.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah,
I feel
suspenders.
I'm curious how that would fit in with everything else that you would wear.
I don't think it would be something you'd wear every day because obviously these scarves, I doubt, are being worn every single day. Maybe just when you're going out or something. But I think it would be a cool thing to bring back. Also, grandma cardigans. Those are fun.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely. I feel like those have experienced a resurgence for sure.
Fun pins. Grandma's always had like the best pins that they would wear, like brooches.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I would love.
On their cardigan.
Or sweater or a dress. I think those are so cute.
What a way to. That makes sense. Express your personality.
Yes.
With a pin.
With a little brooch.
Yeah, that's an idea. And I love the word brooch. The heaviest inmate in Austria is causing quite a debate. 8772 RadioU. This is a guy who I had to do the conversion because they have it all here in kilograms. He was over 600 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So a very large man. He was arrested after a search of his home in Vienna, Austria recently, where police discovered large quantities of drugs. We're talking over 90 pounds of cannabis, over 4 pounds of cocaine, 4 pounds of amphetamines, and more than 2,000 ecstasy tablets. And this was all for just this guy.
Wow.
Because he's 600 pounds. No, I'm sure of that. Even at his weight, that was because he was distributing, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, so he's been put in jail.
Okay.
But because of his large size, he can't just be put in the normal jail. He was initially put into a regular prison, but he only was there for a few days because he almost broke the bed.
Okay.
Because
almost
he's almost. Somehow he didn't break the bed.
They were like, well, he almost broke it, so better get him out of here.
Yeah, so he had to be transferred to a different prison where he has a specially welded, ultra-strong bed. He also has 24-hour specialized care from external nurses. And because of the special accommodations they have to give this guy because he's so big, it costs, they say, 10 times the cost per day to have this guy imprisoned versus the average inmate.
Wow.
And
so it's like having 10 inmates.
Yeah, and it's just one guy.
Yeah.
And so this has been basically a debate of like, how can we be spending this much taxpayer money in Austria on this one single man?
Interesting.
They say it costs over $2,000 a day.
What?
To care for this man.
Why is it that much money?
Because they have to, it's not like where he is located, but all of the attention that they have to give him.
Yeah.
From like health aides and stuff like that. Like the nurses that are not even actual prison employees, I suppose, that are just work at a hospital or whatever it would be, that they have to specially employ them to deal with this guy.
Well, I mean, if they're paying them to be there, like obviously it's not the same nurses, but they're paying nurses to be there around the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That cost is going to go up quite a bit with just, payroll.
But so I suppose, like, obviously, and I'm sure there's probably plenty of people in the United States that maybe are like this in jail and we don't even know about it because we have so many, like, it's just, there's more than one.
Yes.
But I understand the debate, but my question is, like, so what do you want? Like, what is
going to release him?
What's the alternative? Yeah.
I don't think there really is
don't say
one.
the death penalty because I will not stand for that.
Oh,
especially
my
not
gosh.
just because he's large.
No, he hasn't done anything to deserve that. That's just terrible.
But I do feel like some may say that. Like,
really?
Well, I think that's I haven't seen anybody say that, but also this is in Austria. I haven't followed it that closely. But that's often like. That's the argument for death penalty here in many cases, right? Is that it's too expensive to keep these horrible criminals around. We're wasting our dollars keeping them around.
But that's a totally different argument. You're talking about people that are like serial killers, that are, there's an argument of are they on the death penalty or not? Are they on death row or not or whatever? But this is, like dealing drugs, not good.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's a serial killer,
No, he's not. So, then again, what is the alternative? Like, what are we supposed to?
I think they're just going to have to eat the cost.
Yeah. This is just the cost. You know what? There's probably some pretty thin inmates that are way below average.
Yeah,
they don't need anything.
They're cheap for you.
Yeah, that's right.
In prison.
You just have to think of that. You have to, if you're an Austrian taxpayer, you just have to think of those people.
Right. Thanks for listening to the RadioU podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.